Hey everyone, welcome back. A very powerful spring-winter storm is continuing to hammer the Prairie provinces, and the impacts are already being felt with road closures and multiple weather alerts in place. This is not a fast-moving system. In fact, it's becoming nearly stationary and even starting to move backward, or retrograde, toward the west. That means areas like Alberta are now getting pulled into the core of the storm. Through Friday, snow will continue to fill in across Alberta and persist right through the weekend, lasting into Sunday. But the hardest-hit regions remain southern Saskatchewan and Manitoba, where snowfall totals could exceed 50 centimeters. Now, one of the biggest concerns with this storm is the development of snow squalls. These are expected to set up starting Friday morning and continue into the afternoon. If you get caught under one of these squalls, snowfall can become extremely intense in a short period of time. Visibility can drop quickly, and roads can go from clear to completely snow-covered within minutes. And it's not just the snow. Strong winds will make conditions even worse. Gusts from the northeast could reach 60 to 70 kilometers per hour, leading to blowing snow and near whiteout conditions at times. This combination of heavy snow and strong winds will make travel very difficult, especially along major routes like the Yellowhead Highway and Highway 1. If you don't need to be on the roads Friday, it's best to avoid travel altogether. As we move into Saturday, the system will begin to weaken slightly. Snow will become lighter, but impacts will still be ongoing in many areas. By Sunday, conditions should finally start to improve as the storm gradually moves out. So the key takeaway here is that Friday will be the most dangerous day for travel, with heavy snow, snow squalls, and strong winds all combining to create hazardous conditions across the prairies. Let's have across Canada. We've been talking about it for the past few days, and now it's officially taking shape. An omega block pattern is setting up across Canada, and this is going to lock in our weather for several days. That means some regions will stay quiet, while others deal with prolonged and active conditions. Let's break it all down so you know exactly what to expect. Starting with the big picture, an omega block is a weather pattern where systems become nearly stationary. Instead of moving quickly from west to east, they slow down and stay in place. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We have a dip in the jet stream across the prairies and another across Atlantic Canada, with a ridge in between. This setup is going to keep storm systems lingering over the same areas for days, leading to repeated rounds of weather. Now, the prairies are right in the middle of the action. Warm temperatures are still in place, with places like Winnipeg reaching into the low 20s. But with that warmth comes instability. Through the day, we're expecting periods of rain, heavy at times, along with thunderstorms. Some of these storms could become strong to severe, especially near the Manitoba and Saskatchewan border. There's even a slight risk of rotation in a few storms, meaning funnel clouds can't be ruled out. But that's just the first phase. As colder air moves in behind the system, rain will begin to change over to snow. And this is where things become more serious. Saskatchewan is expected to be the hardest hit, with snowfall totals potentially exceeding 50 centimeters in some areas. This is not a quick burst of snow. It's a multi-day event, meaning conditions will deteriorate over time. Strong winds, gusting up to 70 kilometers per hour, will combine with that snowfall to create blowing snow and reduced visibility. Travel could become very difficult, especially across open highways. Alberta will also see impacts, particularly Friday into Saturday. While snowfall amounts there may be lower, generally around 5 to 10 centimeters for many areas, the combination of wind and snow will still create hazardous conditions. Now shifting east toward northwestern Ontario, the storm system continues its influence. Thunderstorms are expected to develop here as well, especially along the Manitoba border. We're looking at 2 rounds of storms. One in the morning, and another developing later in the afternoon and evening. These storms could bring heavy rainfall and gusty winds, adding to the already active pattern. Meanwhile, the Great Lakes region, including southern Ontario, is actually sitting in a quieter zone for now. High pressure is holding on, bringing mostly sunny skies and calmer conditions through midweek. But this won't last forever. By Friday evening into Saturday, rain is expected to move in, bringing a return to unsettled weather across the region, including the Greater Toronto area. Up the St. Lawrence into Quebec, conditions remain fairly similar, with sunshine dominating for now. However, further east toward regions like the Gaspé Peninsula, there will be some snowfall, especially during the morning and early afternoon hours. Now let's move into Atlantic Canada. Conditions here are still unsettled, but not nearly as intense as what we've seen recently in Newfoundland. After dealing with prolonged freezing rain, ice pellets, and freezing drizzle, things are starting to improve slightly. However, the region is not completely in the clear. Expect a mix of flurries and rain showers, especially moving in from New Brunswick into Nova Scotia. Newfoundland will also see another system approach, starting as a mix of snow and rain before transitioning into showers. Temperatures remain cooler than normal across the region, so while the extreme ice is easing, conditions are still far from stable. Finally, looking at British Columbia, this is one of the quieter regions right now. Coastal areas and much of the interior will see relatively calm conditions, with just some cloud cover and occasional gusty winds. The only exceptions will be closer to the Kootenays and the Rockies, where some flurries are possible. But overall, compared to the Prairies and parts of the East, BC is in much better shape. So the big picture here is a split pattern across Canada. The Omega Block is keeping active weather locked over the Prairies and parts of Atlantic Canada, while central regions like Ontario enjoy a temporary break. But as always with these patterns, changes will come, and we'll continue to track them closely. Stay safe, stay prepared, and make sure to check back for the latest updates as this multi-day event continues to unfold.